So you can't find the video for the intro. Where is the intro? There's the intro.
People
Bye-bye.
believe that the paranormal and science are separate. But what they don't know, that they are both joined together as one. Join Ben and Louisa on their quest as they bring together science, occult, and the paranormal. Only on Occult, History, and Science with Ben and Lou.
Good evening, all. Welcome along to the next episode. I don't know why I'm doing that. Sorry. How are we all doing, folks? It is nice to see everyone jumping in. Run through the. Oh, yeah, that one quick. Say hello to everyone. So, YouTubers, hello, Nick, Nico, Natasha, Alison, Jacko, Jeanette, anyone else that's out there. Good evening to you all. You have to bear with me, guys. Hello. Nice to see you again. I'm not gonna lie, I am absolutely shattered. Both me and Luke. It's been a busy weekend, hasn't it? Yeah, we've got a very sleepy puppy. I've obviously been filming with House Haunted this weekend again. For next season. And there's been loads of other stuff kicking off. Obviously, our wedding's not far away, so we're trying to plan for that as well. Big shout out to Luke because it is a birthday Monday, guys. Obviously, we won't be doing it live Monday because I'm at work. We don't really do lives on Monday anyway because I'm at work.
You're at work. I'm staying away overnight, so it's just going to be me, the child, and the animals.
Yeah, I'm down in London, so Lou's by herself on her birthday, bless her. She will have Doggeroo, but unfortunately, that is the way it is. So, tonight, obviously, we're going to carry on with 72. We are going to be looking at the last of the Kings. The reason I left him until obviously last is because he is what's known as a main player, same as Asmodeus. When we looked at him, obviously it took up half an hour of the show due to the fact that he's the main player as well. Same as Ball is main player. So we're going to dive into them again. My usual rules apply. If anyone has any questions about anything paranormal, please feel free to throw them up in the chat. We'll answer them as well. So, anything you want to say?
I'm just here as your support if needed, aren't I?
Basically, when I can't pronounce something.
Yeah, or if you explain things too complicatedly.
Happy birthday there from Natasha on YouTube. So, guys, I think I'm a bit too far away from the camera. I don't know. Can everyone hear me all right? Jacko. Oh. Jacko, thanks for the other day, Ben. I'm in the castle again tonight, but don't feel the same way anymore. I think the spirits have got used to me. Told you it's a good trick. Jacko, do you mind if I share the story? I won't. I don't know if it's, do we say yes? Obviously, we're going to look at Belith. Bell.
Ben? Belial.
Belial. I don't know why I'm saying Belial. That's a different one.
Different one.
Yeah, Jacko. Right. So Jacko he's currently stopping in basically a castle, literally a castle. And he was getting interrupted most nights by the spirits there, not knowing what to do with him. So he got in contact with me and asked for asked how to get them to we say lay off a little bit, and it is a very, very old occultology sort of basic trick that is known to a lot of people. I basically told them to drink the water out of the tap. Weird as it sounds, it is the most easiest trick in the world to blend in when you're on a paranormal night out, is to drink the water from where you are. Because, as we have explained before on this channel, water is a very good conduit for paranormal activity. Wherever you find water, there's usually paranormal activity around. If you happen to consume the water that's there, so e.g. drink water from the tap, your body will tune in with the surrounding area because you will have the minerals from the water that are around you in your body. It basically makes you appear as part of the furniture. Really, really old trick. A hell of a lot of investigators do not do it anymore, which is why you usually find people get really hostile responses when they go on paranormal nights. It's because they know you're not from around there and they don't want to talk to you because, let's face it, no one likes strangers. Especially when they walked into your house and start asking random questions. So, little occultology trick for you guys. If you're ever going on an investigation, you want a better response from people, bring the water. Preferably not our rivers, lakes, or anything like that. I don't want to be held responsible for people suddenly investigating around lakes and drinking the water. It's not advisable, not unless you boiled it and then collect the evaporation from it. Because if not, it's still got bacteria. So, I'll just quickly have a look at the comments because I saw a comment come up. Sorry, I've managed to get the book I was talking about on Friday. I could send it to you in email. Yeah, if you can do, thank you very much. Be much appreciated on that one. Obviously, we've got Jeanette saying, when I can click, happy birthday for tomorrow. Jack, I agree with what I said, 100%. It worked. It's an old trick. So, we are going to dive in again at Belial. My brain is not working today, guys. I know it don't work most nights.
You had a bit of a meltdown, didn't you, over the wedding list?
Yeah, I found something really, really simple to do, and my brain just went, nope, this is too simple. Your brain can't handle it. I had a bit of a meltdown. So, Belial has many, many different names. There's some here that I've got in front of me, but they're all pretty much along the line with Belial. But there are a lot of other names that he is known by. So, I'm going to read you the quotation here that's in front of me. Nice, simple, and easy. Belial is listed as the 68th spirit of the lesser keys of Solomon. He is a king of hell with 80 legions of demons and 50 legions of spirits under his command. Now, he is the only one that is listed as having demons and spirits under his command. He was created as first after Lucifer. He has the power to disrupt censorship and give excellent familiars. He must be represented with offerings, sacrifices, gifts, or else he will not give the true answers to demands. Basically, there's a little bit there that is wrong. And that is that he was created first after Lucifer. Belial is a demon, yes. Historically, he is a demon. He is the ideology and the embodiment of the devil as we know it. So the devil that appears in the Bible is Belial. It has just been lost in translation over the years.
At the end of it.
I know I am doing. It's going to be one of them nice guys. So this is the true name of the devil, basically. So everyone, when they claim it's the devil, this is the devil. His description is of the devil. Flicking over. Sorry, guys. Really sorry for the yawning. It's just been a long day. So, I'm going to flick over and we have more feeds where he is spoken of. So, going into obviously the book that we all use, hold it the right way, Ben. That'll make more sense. Obviously, the demons and demonology book that I always say best to use. It's handy. It is mentioned in here again. Take my glasses off. Can actually see. No, I can't. But my eyes really are getting bad. It's mentioned in here as well, same as I've just said. Dividum, who is depicted beautiful in appearance and soft in voice, but full of treachery and reluctantness and lies. Again, starting to sound more like the devil that we actually know through history. St. Paul considered him to be chief of demons. Again, Satan. Namely, his name may be derived in terms which means without worthy in Hebrew law. So again, he appears in Hebrew law. Was the next angel created after Lucifer? Again, we know that this isn't actual truth. But this is where things separate from biblical history, shall we say, to actual cultology history, which we do find a lot. Same with like we did with Baal, where Baal was Hadad, then Ishtar. No,
No.
I
Yeah.
can't remember. My brain's gone today. But basically, we saw the connection between Baal going to Hadad and then Hadad into these Sumerian belief system. So then we've got here, they basically dropped him in as the embodiment of the devil. So if anyone wants to actually see a photo of him, well, not a photo, but you know what I mean. If you want to go see the image of him, if you type his name into Google, obviously there's pencil drawings on there.
I want the photo.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of really drop myself in there. If you want a photo, you can always try and get a photo. Yeah, he is mentioned in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which, although the church does not recognize the Dead Sea Scrolls, they are from the same period, and it does upset them a bit. I see spirits everywhere through my camera lens and with my eyes. Yeah, it's possible. Due to the fact that our eyes can only see a limited amount on the light spectrum, same as on the hearing spectrum. Again, mentioned in the Quran as well. Belith is one of the watchers. So again, being one of the watchers is another bit different. He is empowered, over all darkness, and his every way and every work are darkness. Again, even in here, it mentions him being Prince of Darkness and King of Evil. Not Satan, not Lucifer, but Belial. You put that on the end, don't you? Belial is mentioned as being the Prince of Darkness. So this is where it all comes. This is why I always say that there's 3 different variations of the devil. What does it mean when your veins change on your hand? Possibly cholesterol level.
Colour or size?
Yeah, colour, size. It depends on what you're after. Medically, it can be usually cholesterol.
Mine become more
stress,
prominent when it's
cold.
yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of medical reasons first that I'd suggest on that one before going into paranormal. Best to go and get checked at hospital. Always works out best. Oh, people coming in. Oh God, why is suddenly everyone just diving on me?
I don't have evils and
Yeah. Hi to Marie. on one hand and palmed. Yeah, it depends. I'd still go and get checked just in case. Nick, he was created before or after Lucifer. He was created after Lucifer. But the problem is with the Bible, a lot of it is, I know it sounds weird saying this, but a lot of it's hearsay from different cultures and different religions. So obviously it varies with that. But when it comes to cultology, he is known as demonic. And Lucifer isn't known as a demon in cultology, is known as a fallen angel. So yeah, you have to take that with a pinch of salt through history. With a Y and an X. Again, I'd first get medically checked out on that before start looking at anything, just in case. Honestly, we can't stress enough on this channel. Health is the main thing first. Your body will give you warning signs in all sorts of mannerisms. It's always good to get checked out first with health wise. So I lost where I was. I can't remember. Yeah, that was basically his reading from this. So when we look into further again with his name, he's mentioned at the beginning, obviously, his name being like Hebrew as well. So again, that predates Christianity, going back towards the Zoroastrian era. So you're looking about, what's the date for? We're 2022, aren't we? So the date for is roughly about 4,800 and something, I think. So Torah is a bit further back, should we say? It's mentioned there, mentioned in the Second Temple period, which is the second rebuild of the Temple of Solomon after the first destruction. They attempted to rebuild it the second time, and then just got completely wiped that second time during the Crusades. Again, mentioned in when it comes to the Dead Sea Scrolls, it is mentioned in the War of the Sons of Light against the Sons of Darkness. That's the reason. Oh, there's a lot of sons here. Someone's going to have a right problem at Christmas. I don't know, it was a bad joke, wasn't it? Sorry, guys. He is also mentioned when it comes to Amram, which was the father of Moses. He's mentioned there as being two of the Watchers. Again, considered in that as the Prince of Evil. King of Evil, Prince of Darkness, even. Am I getting that right around the way? Or let's face it, the Prince of Darkness to me is always and always will be Ozzy Osbourne. So, I've still got a few questions here. One from the YouTube. Is it true that he demands payment for answers? A lot of them will ask for some sort of payment in exchange for answers. So yes, they won't ask for your soul or anything like that. Why would anyone build a temple to him? Because demons aren't necessarily demons. It's only Christianity that made them demons. Everyone had a temple. Even Hadad, which is Baal, which again, being one of the highest demons of all time, the Jews used to have a temple to him because they had a city they lived in called Hadad, and the main god was Hadad, which turned to eventually became Baal once they changed their faith. So it's weird and wonderful. Let's face it, all that lot. Besides, people have a lot of temples. They used to build a temple. And happy birthday for tomorrow, Lou.
Oh, thank you.
Another one. Can you see that one?
I'm thinking forward.
My glasses.
No, your eyes are odd.
Yeah, my eyes are weird. So yes, that's the full mention again of him. he's mentioned in the Testament of the 12, which I'm not going to bore everyone with that, because if you're not into Christianity, you don't really need to know that. Because you'll be there for eternity when it comes to that. So he is different than the first demon that we. Yeah, it's different. He's a completely different entity. Again, you have to remember a lot of them got mixed up and confused. It was only with the Testament of Solomon that you separate and break down, and then you start studying more occultology and find out they are all different. Oh, question from someone new. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if you have spoke or been on here before. I've got a brain like a sieve, so I apologise. But again, welcome. Do you think angels are gods? They just change their names. It depends on the definition of angels, because as we know, angels we see as being human form with wings, looking very feminine.
Ruby.
Roby. I love that. Very roby, are not actual angels. They are what's known as messengers of God. Angels, the true form of an angel is 4 wings, 1,000 eyes. Them sort of beings. But I suppose you may have the same as we've got with demons. Demons used the demons that we're all mentioning are all gods. Christianity merely changed their names slightly and demonized them. It's strange how it all works out. Hopefully that kind of answers the questions for you. Where they would get free knowledge from.
Give.
Oh,
Where they would give free knowledge.
where would they give you free knowledge? Depends what you're going to do with the knowledge. We've seen over history when it comes to it stuff. It depends on what you're going to do with the knowledge. Obviously, through history, we look at when Noah's son summoned one of the demonics to help with the mathematics of building the ark. That he was there to give hand with that. So I think it depends, from what we've seen in history, it depends on what you're willing to do with the knowledge. If you're going to use it for personal gain, then yes, there's usually a price. If you're not going to use it for personal gain, but use it to help others, there's never usually a price asked. They will watch, and the instant you use it for personal gain, it becomes an issue. Best example of this, sorry guys, would be the Testament of Solomon, where it shows that Solomon uses his abilities to control the demons at first to help him build stuff. Then later on down the line, he tries to use his abilities to sort of twist what he wants, and thus rolls into an issue where he ends up losing everything. Happy birthday again for Monday. The part of the free knowledge was the continuation from my previous comment. Yeah, well, I kind of hope I've answered it there in that ramble. If that makes sense. If not, let me know. What? No, Jacko. What? Noah summoned a demon. His son did, yes. His son summoned one to help with mathematics. I spoke about it last show, I believe, where I mentioned him. I think it was. I want to say Mark, but I can't remember if it was Mark or not. Yeah. So, again, according to the ascension of I've got to try and pronounce this now. Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Oh, Isaiah.
Isaiah.
I thought Isaiah was an actual Z.
There's very different things of spelling different.
Belial is an angel of lawlessness and ruler of this world, and identifies as Samael and Satan. So there's the confirmation within the Bible scriptures that he is identified as being Satan. And as we know, and as I've spoke about several times, the word Satan actually just is a Hebrew word for meaning thy enemy. So this is where the backup comes, that he is the original devil / ruler of hell. So Satan completely disappears and just becomes a normal title of a name, same as like Lord. So Satan becomes thy enemy, and Belial is Satan. Confirmation being in the phrases here and other descriptions as you go through the biblical studies. So, everyone knows it?
Why is he called the angel of lawlessness?
Because
Because, usually angels are thought of being like good and demons are bad. So why is it being referred to as the angel?
well, yeah, you look at the most holy angelic going, Aziel,
Hmm.
angel of death,
Yeah.
wiped out thousands.
Yeah, but he's actually known as an angelic, whereas Belial is known as a demon. So why is he being called?
It's just how it happens. Same as Lucifer always gets called a demon,
Hmm.
but he's not. He's a fallen angel. He's
Yeah.
actually an angel. He's
I was wondering where
Yeah.
that bit came from.
no.
Seems a bit odd.
It's just, it is one of them odd things, but it's just how it appears in scriptures. They tend to change. And sometimes they get called angels, sometimes they get called demons. The whole thing was that the fallen angels happened after Adam and Eve were made. So after the finding of Eden and the creation of man, then the angels were said to rebel against what God was saying, and that's when the angelics were said to have been cast out. So that's when Lucifer was cast out into this realm, and the Watchers were cast down to this plane of existence, and it sort of spirals a bit from there. It's sort of weird a bit from that point on. Again, you have to remember the Bible isn't actually a book where you read from back to front. It's the Old Testament is. The New Testament is wrote little stories that you would take bits and bobs and learn from that story, and that's how it's supposed to be, not how it is read now and has been for ages. A lot of stories, when you go back to Arabic beliefs, same as nowadays, a lot of these stories would have been considered what we consider in the Western world as campfire stories. It just happens that they got rammed into a book and put into a certain line and a certain way, and that's the Bible. Cool. Road's gone. There's a grumble. You're all right, don't worry, you ain't got to go get me a drink. How did the Jews find out about the devil? Did he appear to them, or could the Jews communicate in the paranormal world? Right. This is where it gets a little bit weird. Because the Jews don't actually believe in the devil, as weird as that sounds. The original beliefs of the Jews do not believe in the devil, they merely believed in thy enemy. So they believed that their devil had a name, their God had a name. God wasn't known as God to them, it was either El or Jehovah. Or, well, scratch that, let's start fresh.
You need a drink first.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how to word this first. What I'm about to say are my personal beliefs. They do not reflect the beliefs of this channel, nor do I express that these beliefs are set out for to offend anyone. That's not my intention. I merely say this for learning purposes. So, within the Bible, you have three gods that are mentioned. You have El, which is mentioned in the First Testament. Then, after the rebellion in Egypt, where the Jews left Egypt, which, to be historically fact, never happened. There was no evidence in Egyptology or Egypt's history where that actually happened. So you've got El there, then you've got Jehovah when the Jews leave Egypt. Then you have Yahweh, which is the God that we now know in the Bible. That's three different gods. first off, Satan in the First Testament, the Old Testament, mentioned as Belith. That's why it appears in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So if the Jews accept that demons were spoke to, same as God's angels were spoke to, so that kind of makes sense. You imagine them, they were more in touch with their medium ability, shall we say that? And this is why random stuff being thrown off my shelf. Sorry. So that's why it's mentioned that the sort of Jews find out about the devil. It's because they were said to have spoke to him. Well, the weird thing is with it is you have to look at like stories of Enoch, stories of Abraham. The original Old Testament is written in first person. I saw, I did this, I did that, I did the other. New Testament is written from like a third perspective. So it was someone that witnessed, someone that said that someone witnessed kind of thing, if that makes sense. Thank you, Oliver. Sorry, I'll put the cap on there.
No, just very quickly.
Sorry, guys, I won't be sad. Just get a drink before I believe choke to death. Hope that kind of answers your question a bit, Jacko. Charlie? Oh. This is why I wanted to leave until the last of the main show, because there is a hell of a lot when it comes to this last demonic with the kings, because he's known as the devil. So the breakaway from that is obviously it's a lot. He's mentioned in a hell of a lot. For example, going further down, he's mentioned in the resurrection of Jesus, which is part of the New Testament, the Apocalyptics. That when Jesus was said to have taken his disciples down into hell with the aid of the angelic Michael, that Balia was seen with another 666 fallen angels. So there we go. He was seen in charge of all that. Same as within the Torah, he's seen in the Torah. There's a phrase in the Torah that also mentions his sons, so the sons of Balia. So it does keep going and going and going. Another book as well that mentions him, which is a really good book to read if anyone ever gets a chance and fancies proper old English literature, which is a book called Paradise Lost. Balia is mentioned in Paradise Lost. It's really good English scripture. You lost, baby.
Where did you put George?
I don't know, but I think I saw it in the car.
Knock stand on the door and bark your head out.
Oh, she'll come to shatter. So yeah, Paradise Lost is a really good way, but it's got old stories in there of old demonics and stuff as well, and it's a really good book, to be honest. I'd recommend anyone that wants to read it, go read Paradise Lost. Highly recommend it. Well, he's mentioned in a few other things, which is a bit weird. Now, when it comes to occultology, I've found, again, some here that mention there is a name in here. I do not suggest anyone actually start learning his stuff because he's an idiot. Okay, hi Ben and Lou. Sorry I missed the most of this. I was traveling. Don't worry about it, Kate. Honestly, don't worry about it. So Balia is mentioned in. So you've got century, 13th century, the 17th century grimoire. The reprint of the Lesser Key of Solomon mentions Balia, as does Aleister Crowling's grimoire. If you want to read it, that's fine, but I personally suggest do not try and do anything that has Aleister Crowling's touch on it, because it all will backfire badly. So he's mentioning that. Alistair Crowley's Grimoire, which was 1904. Anton LaVey mentions in the Satanic Bible, the Book of Belieth, means without a master. So again, the original Satanists that follow Anton LaVey, they are actually the followers of Belieth. So that's where, again, he mentioned from there. Oh dear. So again, mentioned from there. 1973, again, Edgar uses the term Sons of Belief, Sons of the Law of One, for the first time in one of his deep advanced readings given between 1923 and 1945. You have to remember this period of time is when the occultology was in full swing due to the fact that the war was going off. Off topic, so do you know what 411 is? It depends, Jacko. 411 appears in quite a few other occultology subjects. I have to try and give me a bit more specific on that. Also, there's conspiracy theory, which is the 411, which again, a bit crazy. Nick Spanish teachings about Big Boy. Yeah, teaching about the main demon, so the original badass devil, basically. I'm sorry I'm throwing a lot of information at you guys. There is just loads of information on this now. Again, when he was in his trance during this, he was referred to as the sleeping prophet. He gave over 2,500 readings, different transfer slates. Whilst he is definitely defined as the son of Belieth, he was considered with the Hebrew meaning of worthless. Blah 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 blah. Sort of. I know I go into blah 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 blah, but that's pretty much where it runs off. Again, Belieth, if anyone's ever interested in popular culture, is mentioned, is used in a lot of video games, a lot of TV stuff. He is the original demon from the exorcism of Emily Rose. So there's that one for that. There's even a metal band named after him. There's quite a few other things. He's mainly used in a lot of films. Ready or Not, he's used in that. I think that's about it. But all the information I've currently got on him about diving in. So, like I said, this guy is considered one of the biggest guys going. Oh dear. So after that, pretty much half an hour of solid ramble of information. That's about it. That is the King's ranking system of the Lesser Keys of Solomon done. Basically, that is all that done. I'm just going to catch up with the comments, guys, and so bear with me. Cool. The missing 411 people go missing, not to be ever found or to be found in a place already. No shoes or socks on. Yeah, this is why I said the 411. The conspiracy theory about him disappearing, a lot of it's in America, I believe, is usually where they track a lot of that sort of stuff. When it comes to occultology, the 411 are a group. They're also some occultology practices that are 411s. With bad weather normally happening immediately or during the search, which stops the search, yeah. So you're on about sort of the what's known as the lost cursed ones. It reminds me of yeah. I recommend listening to Coast AM. Jacko, Wild Bill that we have on the show, who's usually in the comments, bless him, he's having a bit of time out. He used to be on Coast to Coast quite a lot. If you want, I can ask him to come on and talk about the 411, because I think he knows a lot more about them as he does. If anyone's wondering what I'm doing, just for the random rest of the dog is now sat here. This is what she likes having done. So if you can just see my hands moving and dog flapping, this is what she gets on a monthly basis. So that I see. Yeah. So did he absolutely yes, please if you can get him on. I will get him on at some point. That was always on. But yeah, that's pretty much all the kings done now. From here, we're going on. From there, we'll go on to the dukes, which do have quite a lot written about them. You done, dog? With the dukes, there are quite a few of them, but I hate to sound harsh. A lot of them don't really matter. From now on down, within the ranking system, a lot of these guys don't really sort of matter. I'm not. I'm merely stating the obvious. Like, if we go on from there, it basically goes from the dukes down to the princes. I know dukes are lower than princes. Then it goes on to the I can't pronounce this word. Marquises. And then from there, there's only one Marquis that will actually be of interest. Then it goes down to the earls, then on to the knights, then on to the presidents, and that's pretty much it. And the last one on the presidents is probably the one that everyone would like to know about, which is Valak. Yeah, right down there at the bottom. There's Earls of Darkness. Oh yeah, there's a whole, like I said, there's a whole ranking system when it comes to the Testament of Solomon. Whole ranking system. This is what we're going to go through. This is why we're going to start working down, and then from there we're going to start branching out into different, what's known as the different orders of hell, the different orders of demonics and stuff. So we're gonna. I've got a lot to cover for a great while. So on Occultology, History and Times, we're going to be doing the demonology stuff for a fair while. That's why I keep saying, if anyone has any questions, paranormal questions, fire them up, because it'll be a nice little break as well. Are there any lower ranking demons that are as old as all of these on the 72 list are as old as pretty much as, yeah. The only difference is with the kings like as and stuff, they are well known higher ups. They had their own faith belief systems that stretched through cultures, through histories. The lower ones you find are more, I don't think the best way of describing it. The less known ones are sort of like, I can't think of a good example. Viking myths, for example. We all know about Odin, we all know about Freya, we all know about Loki, we all know about Thor. And Hela as well, because of Marvel films. But people don't know about the rest of the ones there, because they're not that familiar, not that famous, no one's that bothered. Like the Hounds of Kalana, the god Kalana. No one knows about the god Kalana within the Viking realm because it was more Celtic / Nordic. Never mentioned what exists. So that is what you get with the low rankings. They existed, they're just not really that mentioned. Let's face it, the only reason people know about Valak is because of the Kudri films. Beyond that, no one would ever remember. Because the last time these guys fully appeared was during the 15th, 16th centuries. So that kind of, I hope that kind of explains it a bit. I'm losing track of comments, guys. So I hope that kind of explains that comment, which probably should have put up. Right, let's dive through the comments. There's Earls of Darkness. Yeah, like I said, full ranking system. I saw a crow or raven stare into my soul with one orange eye as a child. Any explanations? Crows are just weird. Crows will remember your face for eternity. As long as they live, they wouldn't recognise their faces. So might have been eyeing you up to remember. I have a super random question. Where are actual demons now? In another dimension, living their best lives? Are they on Earth? Are they in a time warp? Just interested in them. As far as we're aware, they're all here still. Just crossing the veil whenever they need to. But as far as we're aware, they're all still here. There is sightings on a regular basis. Again, with the order and with the network system that we have for what's known as the tracking network system, tracks any mentions that people do. Like certain areas, if they use certain searches, people start searching a certain name, can build up a track system. Same as we do when it comes to Halloween. We can find out. We can find out where most activity is because all of a sudden everyone's like trying to know how to cleanse Ouija boards. Which will be starting at soon, won't it? Loving at Halloween. So I hope that answers your questions there, Kate. Yes, you're right. We wouldn't know about Valak if it wasn't. Yeah, it's one of the things. Like I said on the main show, Hollywood has become this brilliant and beautiful double-edged sword. It helps get things known, but it does it in the wrong way. Jacko, will there ever be an epic like story of Bible with gods and demons fighting and madness going on in the world? Seems like nothing like that has happened since the biblical days. Actually, you might want to look into World War II occultology and World War One. World War One was supposed to be a massive spiritual war as well. There's lots of stories of angelics and demons fighting during the mists of the trenches. So that might interest you a bit, Jacko, to be honest. There we go for Kate. Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. I've been yawning a lot. It's just things catch up with you eventually. So if anyone has any more paranormal questions, please feel free to fire them up. Because if not, I'm going to call it quits on tonight. Just because it's tired and
It's tired.
yeah,
You should put yourself to it.
I'm tired.
It's tired. It needs
But
its rest.
I'm happy to obviously answer any questions for you guys. So if you do have any, feel free. Doesn't matter what topic, what subject, or anything like that. Would you happen to know how many priests would get rid of a bad spirit? If one priest can't do it, they haven't got a clue what to do.
Even people aren't priests.
Even people that aren't priests. I'm not a priest, but I know what I'm doing. And recognised for it. Recognised for what I know how to do. So yeah, when you see them going, oh yeah, we need about 12 priests, yeah, they ain't got a clue what they're doing. Honestly. If that answers your question. Again, got about 10 minutes, guys. If you want to fire up questions, go for it. Feel free. Go nuts. apart from UK, because you ask weird questions, bless you. What is it? Asking what our favourite chocolate bar is can define who we are. Don't worry, I've never forgot that one. And get some rest, you deserve it. Thank you very much once again for your time. Anytime, guys. Honestly, I've got time for you guys all the time.
It's time.
I kind of knew where I was going with that, but I kind of switched off. Yeah, I've always got time for you guys. All you've ever got to do is message the show. I've had too much lemonade. Oh, dear.
Got hiccups now. It's tired and it has hiccups.
Is the constant movie good for understanding a basic level of spiritual world? Yes. As weird as that sounds, yes. The Constantine film with Keanu Reeves is probably the closest you could get to the actual occultology world. And that's pretty much that. That's what I'll say. Everything else I'm going to get in trouble for. But yeah, I hope that kind of answers that. Thank you guys. Very interested. As always, that's fantastic stuff as always. Thank you as much for sharing. I'd say we're quite happy to share, do whatever needs to be done, answer any questions that you have. My fingers don't work on this TV.
The phone. Oh,
I'm sorry,
Oh.
guys.
I think you need to go.
Yeah.
To the
I think, guys, I'm going to call it quits on there because my brain's just shutting down. We know this now. So, on that one, guys, you've got no divination show, have you, this week?
There's one last week on the Carrie show.
Yeah. So we've got. Oh, yeah. So sorry, guys. I am so sorry.
One day there will be a day where you won't yawn.
Yeah. I am so sorry, guys. But yeah, throughout the week, I might try and do a little here and there, doing anything. Depends how the signal is. But if not, Friday show we've got Craig coming on from Help My Heart.
No.
Wrong.
Oh my god.
We've got Craig coming on from Haunted Museum at Stoke-on-Trent. He's going to be filling us in on how that place is going. Obviously, it's having a bit of a refurb next door, and they've had new items in.
That's Spiritual Sanctuary now.
Yep.
Plus we have
A few,
Museum.
yep. A few other things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Kate, you've got it. Man, go get some rest. Once you start yawning, that's it. You're buggered beyond belief. There's just no coming back. So guys, on that note, Jacko, we've got Craig coming on from Country Farms. Yeah. So guys, from me this week, thank you for bearing with me today. I wasn't sure what I was going to do today, but I thought, you know what, you guys deserve it. So I'll keep trying to stay awake. So guys, for me, that is it this week. We will see you next Friday, or look out for in the week where I might drop in and do a little bit of a live, and obviously
Live from a travel hotel room.
Yeah, live from
Not a haunted location,
Yeah.
really.
Just a random premiere in. But yeah, look out for that. Obviously, I don't expect everyone to jump on the live, but if we always say if you're watching back on stuff, put hashtag rewatch, and then we will replay, and then we will answer any questions you have. Prior to that, get in touch with us on.
I think you can get a mobile number then.
Yeah, give out my personal message. My personal, yeah. Here's my personal phone number. Ring me whenever you want. No. But that's it from us, guys, and we will see you next week. I'm going to go and collapse now with a dog, curl up and go to sleep. Because let's face it, guys, I'm just trying to show him the dog that's already passed out my lap. She's already asleep. She knows it's bedtime. So that's it, guys, and we will see you next week.
Bye.